Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high level best of 3 of StarCraft 2. Today we have a liquid skewer in the top right and Dark in the bottom left. The man, the myth, the legend, still holding off on his military service forevermore. So we see Kier opening up with a quick Reaper. I think this was a no scout as well. Yep, there we go. Reaper is going to be the first piece of information, or the first unit that will give him some pieces of information. One of the interesting things that I've seen as of late in the Terran versus Zerg matchup, by the way, is the fact that we've seen a lot of triple CC and a lot of Atrax follow-ups as well, especially coming out of Korea. I always feel like the Atrax is one of those builds that is just consistently underrated throughout the history of StarCraft 2. It is a strategy that is often deployed by lower level players. And when I say lower level players, I don't mean Joe Diamond, but I mean like a top 15 Terran in the world, right? Like someone like Bunny, like a Hero Marine. They love playing this when they fight against Serral or Raynor, because they feel like it gives them the best chance of winning. To steal a map, to steal 2 maps in a row with the Atrax, that's their ultimate dream. And we've seen them being successful with it. It's one of those builds where you wonder, like, if lower level Terrans can do it with worse early games, worse micro, worse macro, why wouldn't a Clem or a Beyond be capable of winning with this particular build order? And we have seen those guys starting to play those builds a lot more frequently as of late as well. And I think that's a good sign. It shows that even Terran players might actually be capable of making good decisions every now and again. This Batrox flew very far, by the way. As a result, will not have a tech lab ready for its starport. I don't even know if there's going to be a tech lab on the starport here, or if this is for a swap. It looks like there's going to be, manually a tech lab build on the barracks there. Most likely a Banshee, could be a Raven, although it would be a little bit wild. It's not something we see very frequently. Third base is now finished up and will turn into an orbital. This is one of those maps as well, by the way, where it's extremely difficult, extremely tricky to get any type of harassment in if you're the Terran player. And it has to do with the layout of the map. So if we take a quick look over here in this general area, you see there's not so many rotations that the Terran can do. They can attack here, and then they can move here. But this can even be shut down with one more tumor, putting your queens up here. The other rotation you have is going all the way around to go towards the left, which is obviously never really worth it. So majority of the time when we're watching this map, we don't actually have any real Hellion interactions, because they don't really seem to work. It seems like the Zerg is always ready for everything. And as a result, what the Terrans tend to focus on this particular map is that we have a little bit of scout denial. We see a 3-3 split of Hellions over here, 3 on the top, 3 kind of near the natural. Could definitely take out these links as well. And then we have Cloak Banshee, just going to be hanging out over here for a little bit. 4 Marines in the main base to make sure that this Overlord is not going to get any real information. Oh my god, what are you doing, Dark? What are you doing? We're going to have a Nydus worm. A Nydus network. This is a very fast one. Here I was talking about how Cure was the one that tried to deny vision. But of course Dark also has been denying vision. So far Cure hasn't really scouted anything. I'm very curious where this is going to land. This Nydus worm. Because we have so many Marines in the main. So many Marines in the main. Now we're getting a lot of links out on the map. We have a Banshee on the top side. This is such a bad situation for Dark, in my opinion. Maybe this is the location? No, it's going to go up in the main base. And 6 Marines are nearby. I think that's enough damage output to clear that. Absolutely is. Nydus is going to go down. 6 workers do fall over here in the third base, as we have an 8 drone follow-up here. Now this Nydus worm goes up in this general area. Do we even have an Overseer? Do we have Cloak? Yes, we have Cloak. Where's our Overseer? It ain't here. And without an Overseer, you're not actually going to be capable of killing anything. Nydus very close to falling. Ooh. Pops out a Queen over here as well. Tries to go for the Creep Tumor. This is a god-awful start for Dark. That would have been the most expensive piece of land that a Zerg has ever tried creeping. Freaking 2 Nydus worms and a Queen for a single Creep Tumor, and then the Creep Tumor also got taken out. Not a great look. Follow-up here is going to be extremely fast infestation pit, 1-1 upgrade. Dark is still in a, I don't want to say in a good position, but he's in a playable position. His worker count is relatively low, his creep spread is pathetic, does not have a 4th or a 5th base. So it's not like this is, woohoo, we're feeling so good, but if he can get a Baneling Nest out, maybe morph in a couple of Banes, there is a possibility he can hold at least the incoming push. And once Dark gets into the mid-game, Dark is usually quite decent at making comebacks happen. Cure, however, up about 20 supply. Nydus network, or Nydus Worm is about to finish up. Do we have enough links in there? I don't think so, as Marine stim over to deal with this. And that's going to be the end of that. A single link comes out. At the same time, a link run by over here on the 3rd base as well. Really nothing in position to deal with this. Gonna get some good split offs. We see just a single worker going down and about 5 or 6 links falling as well. Cure meanwhile occupying the bottom part of the map right now with a single tank, 5-6 Hellbats, and a decent count of Marines. I think this base is honestly toast. There are no Banelings out. That means that Hellbats are going to be extremely efficient. Marines are going to be extremely efficient. 1-1 upgrades aren't done yet for the Zerg player either. That means that the +1 is going to be even more powerful. I think without Banelings, you can't even dream of holding this. And even with Banelings without centrifugal hooks, you still can't really dream of holding this. This base is still being defended by the double Banshees. As Cure is pulling ahead in supply by about 20. Here comes the flank, but there's so many Hellbats. Yeah, I think the moment you see those Hellbats, you're like, okay, this is a base that I'll have to give up. And that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it is something you'll have to do. There's no alternative here in my mind. Adrenal Gland starts at this point. So we're gonna get the extra attack speed here on the Zerglings. Attack speed increase of 40%. Ultralisk Cavern coming in as well. The Ultra can of course be a unit that kind of changes things up. This, by the way, is indeed an Atrax. I didn't really notice it until now, but we have 3 naked barracks just pumping Marine after Marine after Marine. 2-2 not quite done yet. The problem with this is that there's no real transition once Ultras come out. So Ultras could be a game changer. It is also possible that Curious is going to push in before Chitin is plating and before the Ultras pop out in big enough numbers that it will be an issue for Marine Man. I don't think he's going to wait for 2-2 either, by the way. 5th base should start over here on the gold. Might give him a little bit more breathing room on this side. Ooh, Dark's actually gonna move on in with a big fat flank. Baneling count is fairly pathetic. But if they get the hits they need, this could still be fine. I don't think they're getting the hits they need. This was pre-adrenal glands as well. Link's not dealing enough damage, as he's gonna get pushed back. Medevac count is still at 3 with decent energy reserves in there as well. Tank now just unsieged, moving in forward. We have a lot of Marines still streaming across the map. We're just kind of saving up at home. Double Banshee now hitting the 4th base as well, as the Queens are inactive, or well, inactive. They're busy fighting tanks. They don't have time to deal with the double Banshee. New Marines now show up. 2-2 finishes up, and GG gets called as Cure takes game number 1. Game 2 will be played on Eldorado, as we have our Reaper once again snaking across the map, slithering. It kind of floats, doesn't it? It doesn't really walk. This would be one of the worst jetpacks, though. It's like a jetpack that levitates you like a feet above the ground. Like, what the hell is the point? I really don't quite understand it. Like, your feet are just dangling the entire time. It also has got to be insanely hot in there. Like, look where these freaking flames are. It's like right on the back. They're massive, too. Like, how do you still move? It also looks like a clunky suit. Oh well. I guess that's why it's not a very good unit. Invested to like 50 minerals, 50 gas. All the gas is going to the freaking fuel in these 2 jetpacks so you can levitate. Makes absolutely no sense. What a useless unit you are. Did manage to deal a little bit of damage. Killed nothing though. Alright, follow-up is going to be triple CC. I wonder if we're gonna go to the gold base. Or if we're just kind of flying 1, 2, 3, 4 into the 8-patcher. Is allowed. Both is allowed. Hellions are about to hit the map as well. As Dark has actually opened up with speed. For a little while, Dark was opening up with a gasless start pretty much every single game. It was very fun to watch him be up like 25 workers going into the mid game. And then just winning the game from there on out, like every single time. it feels like he's not been doing that as much. Probably has been dying a bit. Whenever you're playing Gastos, it's really easy to die to like a Hellion run by because you don't have fast links to catch the Hellions. However, if you're not planning on building any links, which apparently is what Dark is doing here, it doesn't really matter whether you have speed or not. Like, you don't have any links anyway. So, what's the point? It's going to be smacking some of these Hellions around, which is a good call. A lair now on the way, as well as a second gas, very standard. Third gas as well, also very standard. And once again, Hellion Banshee opener. Coming out of our good friend Cure, was going to be moving the factory over towards the right side after just a mere 6 Hellions. Double barracks coming into play. Let's see how he's going to be using these bad boys. There's such a huge difference, by the way, between the highest level of Terrans, how they use Hellions, and then not the highest level of Terrans. Like, Clem is so consistently running by with these bad boys and getting like 10, 12, 13, 15 worker kills. It often feels like he just wins the game with the first 4 or 5 units that he has, and then the rest of the time he's just playing it out. Okay, Cure actually is going to be taking the gold. I would love to see a bigger transfer of workers then, if you're gonna take the gold, because these gold patches are just much more efficient than these dumb blue mineral patches. Now I have some, oh, what the hell? Some overlords pooping creep. 1-1 upgrades will start soon. 2 extra barracks coming into the mix as well. What are we doing over here, boss? We're gonna get a swap of the barracks onto the reactor. Other factory moves over to the tech lab. 1-1 upgrades will start behind this as well. And perhaps a tank. You have decent mining. I really wonder if this will be Adrax territory, because if it is, Dark could be in a bit of trouble. He's opening up with a Spire. The Spire is the worst tech structure to deal with any type of Adrax pressure. Oh, there we go. -1 drone. Overseer not in position to deal with this. Queen count is good enough. Here does not want to commit to the spot though, which is kind of wild. Centrifugal hooks comes out. The reason why Spire is so ridiculously bad against Adrax in particular is because you're investing a lot in units that are not great in a straight up engagement. With Muras, ideally you want to be... Oh yeah, there we go. It's actually an Adrax again. I wonder if we are just going to see like 3 Adraxes or just 2 Adraxes in case this works. If there's ever going to be a good setup, this is going to be it. Right now we have invested, what is it? 200 for the Spire. For this, so like 1800 resources into units that will still lose to 400. 8 Marines basically. 8 Marines with Stim and a medevac. So about 600 resources will be capable of beating 1800. That is not great. Unless you're significantly outmining your opponent. If we take a look at that, it's also not really the case. So these Muras need to get some value. And that value ideally is not even in killing workers, but ideally is just going to be in getting a tank, getting a medevac, getting a couple of Marines that are reinforcing. I mean, getting workers would be great as well, but it would definitely be better if they also get some real value that lowers the push power that Cure is going to have. Okay, here we go. That's a couple of workers going down. Let's take a look at the response out of Cure. Who is just going to pull his SCVs away, seemingly. 1-1 finishes up. Forgot to send Marines into the natural, just into the main. Now we're going to get another stim into the natural. That's 10 workers already going down. A lot of mining time lost. I mean, Dark actually is winning a lot of time. And something that he's doing here that's very cool is that the moment he realized what was going on, he just completely stopped building Muras. So it's really not oh my god, never mind. I was gonna say, this is brilliant because he's investing fully in the defense of the incoming push. And as I say that, he adds in another 8 Muras. That seems to increase the risk of him dying. I do like his position overall because he's up 25 workers. He has an okay Marine or an okay Ling Bane count. But going for 15 Muras, that is 30 supply of useless units. That is 3k resources of your army value. And the army value right now isn't that high. It really isn't. 17 Muras, 3,400 in resource value. As Cure is gonna slowly but surely start pushing in forward. Would love to see a mule or 2 drop. Or he wanted to go there, but that's not allowed. Don't forget, we still only are on layer tech. No infestation pit has been added yet. As Mutas now are going to clear some of these Banshees. No, they're not. Cloak is in time. Good control on the Mutalisk here. Get a good split on these Marines too. Barracks actually under some heavy fire. As we have Lingbane waiting. I'm not sure if this is for a base trade or if this is for... Like, I don't actually know what this is for. I think it's going to be for a counterattack / base trade. We have a good amount of Banes at home as well. It's about 23 that are staying home. We can burst open some depot walls here. As Mutas continue flying in. Get another 10 worker kills or so. SCVs are not here. He's once again going to try to go in. This is a terrible plan. Did he think that Dark was going to mine this out for him? Why? And now he's coming with SCVs that already have minerals in the mouth. So they can't actually mine it. 2 out of the 3 already have minerals. This is a terrible execution of this build and this strategy. This took so long to get going. He only manages to mine open a single one. I don't even think that the tanks are going to fit through. It's going to be difficult to kind of run back because this is such a tight choke. You usually like tight chokes, but they need to be open enough for large portions of your army to be capable of moving through. Now we're going to have an attack into this position. This is actually a crazy good spot to fight in for Cures. Off creep, if he splits well, I think he might be capable of still doing it, at least in this battle. Hey, this just hit so freaking late. Dark was maxed out with a 2k bank. Like, that is not how you're supposed to aid Rax. As here comes Dark one more time. Cure. 130 supply still remaining. Lost all of his tanks at this point, but the Bane count is falling lower and lower. Next round of Banes has finished up, though. Yeah, this is just a pure Marine army. We're 73 Marines and 7 medevacs. Dark is only at 20 Banelings, though. Has 16 more on the way. But I do believe that might just be enough. SCV's coming over to mine it out a little bit further. This just should have hit a minute and a half ago. But he walked into a mineral wall at that point. GG's gonna get caught as Dark takes game number 2. And in game number 3, we once again go for... Well, we are doing nothing. So, at least not that I'm aware of. Maybe some of you are doing some wild activities at the same time. But probably majority of you is either slouched over your phone watching this video or hanging on the couch, now feeling self-conscious about the poor posture that you had just before I mentioned it. But yeah, Cure is definitely opening up with a Reaper. Look at him go. Pew. If I'm Cure here, by the way, I am not playing Atrax again. And not because I don't think it's a good strategy, but because I feel like I've disrespected it too much. You know, if you have such poor execution of a build that is so good, maybe it's best to just let it rest for a little bit. Okay, we'll try another day. I'll go back to the lab. I'll practice against the AI, you know. See if I can take 5 SCVs with me to mine out these minerals. It is crazy to me that his entire plan revolved around Dark mining out his own natural base access, gold mineral patches. Like, that is a crazy, crazy strategy to have. That is the type of strategy you see in like a bad action movie. You know, completely reliant on the villain being an absolute moron. Like it's a cartoon level of plan making. In cartoons it always works out because the villains are always dumb as bricks. But if you're playing against Dark, this guy plays like a villain. But that's the brain of the protagonist of the movie, let me tell you. So he just didn't mine it out. He walked there twice as well without sufficient SCVs. It's just I don't know. To me, this is really crazy. Because he could have hit legitimately 2 minutes earlier. Minute and a half earlier. And Dark would have been in trouble. Dark actually would have been in trouble. 3k resources into Mutas. 3.4k resources into Mutas. That is a crazy amount of resources into something that does 0 damage in a battle against Marines. Unbelievable. Baneling Nest also was in the natural, by the way. So the moment you clear that with Marines, like... It's freaking game over. You're not losing anymore. For the 3rd time in a row, we're also playing Reaper Hellion. This is also one of those things where I don't really like this. I understand that Clem plays Reaper Hellion, Hellion Banshee every single time. And he performs well with it. But just because the best player in the world does something doesn't mean you should copy it, especially if your execution just isn't very good. Like, if I suck with a triple Oracle opener, I am not going to be playing triple Oracle openers when it matters. Like, if I'm getting 2 drone kills and Hero is getting 25, and I think to myself, hey, Hero's getting 25 kills, I probably should be playing Triple Oracle. Like, I should probably practice it in order to get to those numbers. But in a tournament, I'm not gonna go in there with my 3 Oracles, get 2.5 kills, and then piss off. It's like, no, that's not how it works. I play a build that is less reliant on getting kills. And Hellion Banshee is a build that is quite reliant on getting kills. Actually gonna get 2 or 3 kills here, by the way, which is nice. It is something at least. 4 hasn't quite finished up yet. We're gonna get 1 more. Do we have a transfuse? No, we don't. 3 drone kills total. I mean, the fact that I'm happy about this getting 3 kills is a very bad sign. Because it should be... This should be the minimum, you know? This is the bare minimum of what you want to do. You can fly in pre-cloaked with 2 Banshees, and you can get a little bit of damage done. Right now, it's just kind of idling here. I just don't think Cure is fast enough to play this build order. Like, his energy is pretty much already gone. He's now going to run in. I think Dark has actually spotted this as well. I don't know how Dark has managed to do that, but it is fairly impressive. Queen's going to move into position. I mean, they're out of cloak already. He's going to get like half a kill here. That's it. 2? No, just 1. Wait, did Dark dodge that? With a Spore? Wait, did he actually? No, he didn't. Why was there a Spore? I guess he dodged another shot. Cool stuff. Okay, instantly goes into dive. Dark is just not afraid. Dark has 0 fear right now. He's seen Cure's previous push and is like, man, I managed to survive his Adrax while going for Mass Muta. I should be capable of holding anything while teching into World's Fastest Hive. I could go up to 95 workers. Like, this guy just doesn't have the timings that are tight enough. This is an insanely strong push out, though. This actually is a really strong one. Maybe we spoke too soon. Double Banshees are going to stay at home. Because this is going to be 6 Hellion plus tank. Armory isn't there. He's going to go Atrax again. You can't make this up. It's going to go Atrax again. So that's 3 for 3. He's up 15 supply already. Dark can change that rapidly. Centrifugal Hooks is done. Barrow's on the way too. Here we go. It's weird, by the way, to see tanks being added into the mix in these types of push when you're following it up with an Atrax. Because the common knowledge is that if you're Atraxing, you want to keep as high a tank count as humanly possible. So he's going to lose a tank here. Like, Dark is not going to die. The Dark just doesn't die. Dark might get a bad trade, but he's not going to die. Oh, also doesn't get a bad trade, really. Just gets a good trade and doesn't die and clears the tank. So this is why we usually don't see this as much. We have decent supply still, though. 1-1 upgrades plus combat shield as well. Cure tried fighting there, but that doesn't quite work against 1-1 links. +2 on the way for both players. Hive is done. Ultra Cavern on the way. 8-minute Ultra Cavern. That is insanely fast for an Ultralisk Cavern. Like, legitimately insanely fast. Double Banshees now showing up on the top side. What do we have over here? A pickup and a pullback. I mean, the one thing we can give to Cure is the fact that there's not a whole lot of creep. Another thing we can give to Cure is the fact that Dark has legit 0 information as to what is going on. Like, he's put like 9 more drones. Like, you know what I really need? Second Spore in the main right now. It's like, no, Dark. What you need is for every single larva to turn into a unit that can help you out right now. His response is going to be to get a massive run-by going. And actually, I don't think Cure is ready for this whatsoever. Has nothing there to defend. Dark at the same time is also trying to move in forward. Double Spores in the main actually going to come in handy. Except they're out of range, so not really coming in handy. Ling run by those, dealing quite a bit of damage. Baneling's also rolling in the natural. We're going to get a full pullback out of Cure. That is not what I'd expected. Now he's going to walk onto creep. This is some interesting movement here out of the Terran player. Ooh, he's going to have to deal with some burrowed links in his net too. Wouldn't surprise me if Dark is going to... he already has a couple of links burrowed over here. 2 of them. So can always unburrow that later. We still have 3 medevacs up here. Cure... I think he's waiting too long. I think he's just waiting too long. He's giving his opponent so much time. Has not spotted the Ultra Cavern. Has not seen the fact that there's a hive. Adrenal Gland's now finishing up as well. I mean, once again, Dark has just done it. He delayed this for too long. With these run-bys, he's now going to send in another run-by. And understandably so, by the way. Because if you have Ultras on the way, you know you're going to be pretty much safe at home. If you get a Ling run by in with Adrenal Glands, boy, you're going to be chewing through stuff real fast. Bailing run by at the same time is going to hit the third base. This is a disaster here. Look at this. Lings with Adrenal are insane against SCVs. 2-2 upgrades as well. 35 workers going down. And now the first ultras are about to pop with the chitinous plating. GG gets called before he even spots the ultra list. That would have been adding insult to injury. As this series ends with a 2-1 victory in favor of Dark. And that, my dear friends, is going to be it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye-bye.